Game 19, and who knows, maybe getting on the road and a massive roster shakeup will be the change that's needed for something to spark or something to click. It seems unlikely, seems like that won't be the case, but it's possible. New guys in with new guys. You're moving people throughout the lineup. Maybe Scott Lawton is nearing a return. Doesn't look like he'll play here tonight. But then you're bringing up some youthful energy in Easton Cowan. Hopefully you've been embarrassed by the 4 straight losses. We'll see how it all plays out tonight against the Chicago Blackhawks in Chicago here tonight. I'm Zack Phillips. This is a presentation of Bet365. Let's head on over to Daily Faceoff and see what we've got for tonight's lines. Starting with your first line, Nic Robertson continues to get an opportunity in the top 6. I think he's been pretty good here this season. Scratched early on, but since his last time up in the press box, he's come back out. He's shown some consistency, shown intensity, shown some energy, shown some skill, and he's shown it basically every single time he's gone out on the ice. So Nic Robertson continues to prove, hey, maybe you don't have to get rid of me, or maybe you don't want to get rid of me, and stays in the top line there alongside John Tavares and William Nylander. Notably here, Matthew Knies comes off of that first line. I'm assuming that what's going to happen as we go throughout the rest of the lineup is Matthew Knies, who's notably not on the Daily Faceoff lineup right now because he did not practice yesterday. He missed for maintenance. I'm going to assume he's going to come back in replacement of Sammy Blais. He's going to play with Nick Waugh and Easton Cowan. And Nic Robertson would then stay up with John Tavares and William Nylander. And then the Knies, Waugh, Cowan line becomes your second line. Michelli, Domi, McMahon goes down and becomes your third line. I don't mind this. I don't know necessarily how this is going to play out with Knies and Waugh being together. Waugh and Cowan worked together when it was Waugh, Cowan, and Joshua. If you upgrade the skill on the other side and you're effectively getting the Dakota Joshua type player in Knies, obviously they're very different and one is much better than the other. But if you break down what like the prototype of the player is, where it's supposed to be this hard, heavy, forechecking guy who can get up and down the ice and then can create points, that's kind of what Matthew Knies does, just on a bigger, better scale than what Dakota Joshua does. So you put him in there into that line. Maybe you find something with those guys right now. Maybe you find a way to balance things out rather than what you had against LA, where it was just Knies, Tavares, and Nylander, and you're banking on them being your first line. And a line that's traditionally been your third line in Domi, McMahon, and then it was Robertson against LA, having to elevate up and be your second line. I think that puts you in a bad spot. So I think this moves Domi down to your third line. It moves McMahon down to your third line. You give Cowan an opportunity in your top 6, if that's the way it plays out. And then the other thing that we finally get to test out here, which we haven't throughout the beginning of this season, and we had heard all summer long that this is what they were going to do, is Nick Waugh now gets to play against tougher competition. Better guys in the lineup, better offensive players, and that's who he's going to go head-to-head with. I don't know. We haven't seen him play those tough defensive minutes that it was all assumed that he was going to be taking on when he came here, where he was going to be the guy that was going to have to go up against everybody. He was going to be the guy that was going to have to play the shutdown role. Well, so far it's been Austin Matthews who's taken the brunt of that. He's out right now, obviously, but we saw Matthews' offensive production go downhill. We saw it take a step back. We saw his dominance take a step back. Maybe if Nick Waugh can get something rolling here, can get out there against tougher competition, can gain the trust of Craig Berube, can prove tonight, hey, I can shut these guys down, then maybe that opens Matthews up for when he comes back. You can play Nick Waugh in some of those tougher situations. You can play him in your own zone to take draws, to start from that side of things, so you can start Matthews in the offensive zone more. You can get him more favorable matchups. Maybe this forces your hand to learn something that you didn't really know or didn't want to know before. Again, hypothetical, we're assuming Knies goes in for Blais on that line. We're talking about a player who played 4 minutes in last game against the LA Kings. Like, Craig Berube couldn't put this guy out there at all, didn't want to put this guy out there against the LA Kings, at which point you could only assume that he was just a placeholder in the lineup the other day. Down to your fourth line, Dakota Joshua, Steven Lorentz, Calle Yarncroke. I think between Joshua and Lorentz, you're very clearly trying to build towards something. Like you're trying to establish some type of identity with those guys and say, hey, okay, you're going to play hard on the forecheck. You're going to be heavy. You're going to put pucks in corners. You're going to win battles back. You're going to win cycle game. Calle Yarncroke is a guy who can play with energy. He can play with speed, and he's got a bit of skill to maybe complement those guys. The only thing that I didn't quite understand or wasn't really fully getting behind is I thought Dakota Joshua was pretty good the other day against LA. I think he's been fine to start this season. Not exceptional, not great, but fine. There's a couple games where I've noticed that he really struggled. There was a couple games where I felt like he kind of took a step forward and really started to show what he could do, and then it just kind of regressed, and it always just came back to the middle where it was like Jimmy VC Vanilla, as Sheldon Keefe so eloquently put it. Getting demoted, let's put air quotes on that, getting demoted down to the fourth line and playing potentially less minutes and in a less important role. Not what I expected for Dakota Joshua. I wanted to continue to see him get thrown into some of those opportunities and maybe, continue to play alongside Nic Robertson. Obviously, you're making some massive change-ups here, and I think part of it is like if you put Dakota Joshua with Max Domi and Bobby McMahon, you're then relying upon Matthias Michelli, Calle Yarncroke, and Steven Lorentz as your fourth line, which I think is not optimal. So if you're going to talk about chess pieces and where one piece goes and then where the other one has to go after that, maybe that's something to consider in all of this. But Dakota Joshua I thought was fine and wanted to continue to see get more opportunities. Not going to be the case tonight against the Blackhawks. Going down to what you have for your defensive pairings here now for tonight. Morgan Rielly, Brandon Carlo, Simone Benoit, Jake McCabe, Dakota Mermis, OEL. Chris Tanev out hurts. The Leafs are still trying to look and acquire some type of defense. It sounds like, the Rasmus Andersson rumors flared up the other day. That they're trying to improve on that, but these guys have been playing so poorly to start this season. I don't like the Carlo Rielly pairing. Don't want Dakota Mermis in this lineup. Don't want Simone Benoit anywhere beyond a third pairing as your sixth defenseman. The Leafs made a bunch of roster moves the other day. Brought up Easton Cowan. You put Matthews on IR. Tanev's on IR right now. You sent Akhtiemov back. Joseph Woll was brought back up for this team. I was hoping that in there somewhere there might be some announcement that Villeneuve was going to come up and he was going to be brought into this lineup. Not because he's so NHL ready that you have to have him in the lineup, but more so because could he be worse than Dakota Mermis? I think he brings something different to the group. I think he brings a different approach, a different element. I think he can move the puck well. I think he's good with it. He's got good with his feet. He's got good first step ability. He can kind of move around better than a guy like Dakota Mermis could. Probably a guy like Simone Benoit could. So you get something different from him. It's also just some different energy in the room. I don't know. I thought that we might see something like that change, but not going to be the case. I don't know. As of right now, you'll basically just got to look at the guys that are in there and say, you've got to figure it out. We're not going to go get anything or make any kind of changes until you figure it out. Goalies for tonight. Could change very quickly. Sounds like Joseph Woll may get his first start of the season for the Maple Leafs tonight. Anthony Stolar's obviously still injured. Dennis Hildeby's played the last few. I don't think he's been bad, but I think it's a tough spot for him. You obviously sent back Akhtiemov now, so Woll is going to be on this bench tonight for the Maple Leafs. Just a matter of if he starts or not, and I'm more inclined to believe he will start. Spencer Knight on the other side for the Chicago Blackhawks. He will get the tap in goal and be the Blackhawks starting goaltender. With that, let's now get to our best bet segment. Our best bet is a presentation of Bet365. Whatever your bet is, it's never ordinary at Bet365. Download the app and get in on the game. Use the code NATION. NATION. That's code NATION. NATION at Bet365. You must be 19 or older. Ontario only. Please play responsibly. Best bets on the season so far here. We are 10-17 on the record, but I'm not worried about record. We're worried about profit. We are profiting $230 here on the season. We have lost the last three. We looked at, we won one in the Boston game, and that was Nylander over 2.5 shots on goal. We lost Matthews 2+, Matthews 3+, but those are $5 and $15 bets, so that was $20 loss there. And then we lost a $5 bet on the parlay in the LA Kings game. Would have been a huge payout. Huge payout if that one had hit, but we just lose $5. But we're looking to get right back on the right track here tonight. Maybe this Leafs team can get back on the right track here tonight, and maybe this guy is the guy to spark it. So head on over to Bet365 for tonight, and then you're going to jump into the Leafs and Blackhawks game. You'll notice here the Maple Leafs are favored against the Blackhawks, -125. Blackhawks +105. The total in this one, 6, -125 to the over, +105 to the under. We're going to go to the player props tab for this. Anytime goal scores, show more. We're going to scroll down to about the +400 range there. We're going to go with an Easton Cowan anytime goal +400. $50 on that one will profit you $200 here tonight. $50 on a +400 for Easton Cowan will profit you $200 tonight. Simple. First of all, the opportunity for Cowan to play in what I believe is going to be the top 6 or get a more favorable set of minutes, what is maybe the better way to put it, than Michelli and Domi and McMahon as your second line there. So I think that the Knies, Waugh, Cowan line will likely be your second line. So that's the first part. Second part, when Cowan was playing, he was a super energetic, high tempo, high intensity type of player. He's obviously smaller, but he's willing to get in scrums. He's willing to battle. He could get up and down the ice. He's got high skill. He's a guy who can create offense. Now he's also playing with Matthew Knies, who can go toe-to-toe with him in that department in terms of offensive abilities, being physical, being heavy, winning forechecking battles, winning races. And then you're hoping that Nic Waugh can start to show here some signs of what he had from his defensive abilities, as well as that skill that he brings to the game. Maybe this benefits that line, and Easton Cowan's able to capitalize. So that's our best bet for tonight. Easton Cowan, anytime goal, +400, $50, half unit, profits you $200 here tonight. That's all for today's game preview. If you enjoyed this, hit that like button, subscribe here to the channel, Leaf Station 401 right here on YouTube. Put out on all podcast platforms, the Leafs Nation After Dark. You can find the feed as well. Drop your comments and thoughts on tonight's game in the comments below. I want to know, do you think they win? Can they get back on track? Do you like the lines that they're putting forth for tonight's game? I want to hear it all. So look forward to seeing that in the comments, and look forward to seeing everyone back here for another edition of Leafs Nation After Dark following tonight's game against the Blackhawks. Look forward to seeing everybody then. If you can find it in you, keep believing. For more content just like this, including game previews, post-game live shows, Leafs Morning Take Monday through Friday with Nick Alberga and Jay Rosehill with special guests, as well as instant reaction videos, make sure to be subscribed here to the Leafs Nation YouTube channel. Turn on notifications so you don't miss anything, and drop a like.